Ola, Uber can't run cars more than 8 years old as center caps vehicle age for cab aggregators. The Ministry of Road Transport and Highways has imposed an age limit on vehicles that can be used by an aggregator including Ola, Uber, and Rapido for operations to 8 years from none earlier. The ministry issued the Motor Vehicles Aggregator Guidelines, 2025 on Tuesday. The new guidelines not only bar cab aggregators from onboarding vehicles older than 8 years, but also require them to deregister those that exceed the age limit. An aggregator shall not onboard vehicles which have been registered for more than a period of 8 years from the date of initial registration of the vehicle and shall ensure that all vehicles on board by it should not have exceeded 8 years since the date of initial registration of the vehicle, the ministry said. The government has also made it mandatory to display a copy of driver's license and the motor vehicle permit inside the motor vehicle, except motorcycles. The said display shall be on the back side of the front seat next to the driver in such a manner as shall be clearly visible to the passengers in the motor vehicle, the ministry said. The guidelines also stated that the app should display a clear and high-resolution picture of the driver on board on the app of the aggregator. The ministry has mandated that drivers undergo a psychological analysis conducted by the aggregator to determine whether they are fit to be on board. Explaining this, a MORTH official said that the cab providers need to assess the driver's mental and emotional health through a psychological evaluation. This has to be done by the aggregator. The aim is to check if the driver is mentally stable, emotionally balanced, and fit to handle the stress of driving and interacting with passengers, the official explained. These additions mark a shift toward stricter standardization in aggregator vehicles. So far, these were not mentioned in the guidelines. The currently used guidelines are from 2020 when the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways issued the Motor Vehicle Aggregator Guidelines 2020 under Section 93 of the Motor Vehicles Act, 1988. The guidelines provided a regulatory framework for state governments to issue licenses and regulate aggregators in the road transport sector. Now, the Motor Vehicle Aggregator Guidelines 2020 have been revised to keep the regulatory framework up to date with the developments in the motor vehicles aggregator ecosystem. The new guidelines Motor Vehicles Aggregator Guidelines, 2025 attempt to provide a light-touch regulatory system while attending to issues of safety, security of the user and the welfare of the driver, the ministry said. The government has retained the existing fare-sharing ratio between drivers and aggregators but has now mandated a time limit for fare settlements. Swipe left for next video. As per the revised guidelines, drivers on board along with their vehicles must receive at least 80% of the total applicable fare, including all components under the driver's share. The remaining amount may be retained by the aggregator as a portioned fare. The payment may be settled daily, weekly, or fortnightly, but not beyond that, as per the agreement between the driver and the aggregator, the ministry stated. Latest blogs.